John Bacchus and his family. John was and his family were with the Lucky 7 Foundation. And if you could raise your hand. So John and his wife and sister.
No, I'm just visiting from Canada.
And brothers, right? They were having dinner. Come on, tell the story.
We were having dinner a week ago, and it was just John, Ned, and myself. And I halfway through dinner, I said, I am really incensed. And they went, what's new, whatever? And I said, we read the Wesley Party. And I said, we have to. It's imperative. And we love what Lehi has done. We've worked with them for a number of years. And I said, Johnny, you call Sharon tomorrow morning and ask what can we do to help to get this village open. And here we are, a little over a week later. And I am so thrilled.
And we also have a special guest, Sally Bagshaw. Sally has been absolutely wonderful. She's been writing some key news articles and making phone calls, as well as building tiny houses. So we are so grateful. I know this is sort of like a love fest, but we have also a very important delegation from the Marabella Civic Engagement Project. He's the Deputy Director of the Human Service Department, representing the mayor. And of course, Councilmember Andrew Willis. Okay, we are serving refreshments. So after this, there will be food and then tours, and everybody can mingle. And the first person I want to introduce is Reverend Lawrence Willis from the True Vine of Holiness.
Thank you, Sharon. My heart has just been beating and beating because I know the work that we had to put in to get everything going. So I want to give another hand to all those that had a part and working with the South End Village. Just give yourself a hand. I want to welcome you. Look to your neighbor. Say hello, neighbor. Hello, neighbor. I want to welcome you to the South End Village. When me and Sharon were talking about it, and I'm a resident of Federal Way, but I was raised in the South End. And so when Sharon was thinking about coming to the South End, I said, you know what? I believe that's a good idea. Then I met the family of the owners of the property, beautiful people, and I said, yeah, let's go for it. She said, but what do you want to call it? I said, well, I've lived on the South End for a long time. How about naming it South End? And so we have that name, and I just want to thank everyone for being a part of this, for sowing into lives of those that are homeless, because we know that they're there, they need the support from everyone. And so teaming up with others that are here, the city, the state, city council, the mayor's office, and all that are here today, I believe we can bring more tiny house villages. Not only that, we can solve that crisis of homelessness that's just ravaging across this country.
Yes.
So I just want to thank you. I want to welcome you. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
So One of our key partners is the Refugee Women's Alliance, and they have been our partners on multiple sites, providing services, providing early learning, childcare, and we are happy to partner with them for providing case management services and behavioral health. So we have Susan Lee.
This is where the challenge comes in, you know. Well, thank you very much, Sharon, for inviting us to be here today. It's truly my honor to have been a partner with Lehigh for numerous years. We're really excited to also be able to bring our multicultural, holistic services to this area here. So REWA is a multinational, multi-ethnic, multicultural and linguistic services where we are here to provide self-sufficiency and advocacy. And this is just the perfect partnership between Lehigh and REWA, where, as she's mentioned, I will be helping to develop the MLK location where we will have early learning centers, 120 students there. I know, right? And so with that, we are also going to partner and bring 8 of our wraparound services to the South End location as well. So domestic violence, family empowerment, ESL classes, citizenship classes, and of course referrals, jobs, etc. So much more and so much more resources that we're really excited to partner with. And I'm just excited. I'm just super excited, and thank you very much.
Thank you. And we are very, very happy to have Gregory Davis from the Rainier Beach Action Coalition and our neighbor.
All right, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. This is a really, really, really important occasion, and although I don't like it, I've been dubbed unofficially the mayor of Rainier Beach, and so each of my reallies is worth 5,000 people. Okay, so when we say really, 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 we're talking on behalf of the Rainier Beach neighborhood. Now, we have taken up the role as, so I serve as a managing strategist for the Rainier Beach Action Coalition, and we have taken up the role of stewarding the Rainier Beach Neighborhood Plan. And so yes, Rainier Beach has a plan. We are organized. The plan calls for this type of development. It causes us to safeguard the visions and the dreams of the residents from this neighborhood who created the neighborhood plan, to make sure that it's a beautiful, safe place, to make sure that it's lifelong learning is happening, a place for everyone, and also healthy food for healthy industry. And so as Sharon mentioned, we are neighborhood. We are a property owner 2 doors down. Our plan is to develop that property and to make it into a food innovation center. We're also one of the organizations that took on the zoning around Rainier Beach Light Rail Station. And we said during the mandatory housing affordability work that, well, let's raise the height limit in this area to get this 125 feet, 125 feet. But you have to have community benefit on the ground floor, okay, in order to get that extra height. So anyway, this South End Tiny Village joins others who come to impact the lives in Rainier Beach. You come to join the Polaris Apartments, which now has 337 new affordable housing units. You come to join the Rainier Valley Food Bank, which serves hundreds of people per week. You come to join FAME and the Washington Equity Alliance for the Elizabeth Thomas Home. You come to join the Ethiopian Community Center to put up the senior housing there. You come to join the Northwest Kidney Center, who serves hundreds of people a week. And so on behalf of the Rainier Beach neighborhood, we welcome you to Rainier Beach.
Now, we are in the City Council District of Councilmember Tammy Morales. She unfortunately cannot be here, but we do have her legislative aide, Evelyn. Evelyn Chow.
Sorry, I know it's not as exciting to see me instead of Tammy. But I'm really, really honored to be here on her behalf and to say congratulations. I know I wasn't even expecting it to be open either when we were touring just a few weeks ago. Councilmember Morales expresses her condolences. She's at a doctor's appointment this morning. But you know, our office did have a chance to tour a few weeks back, and honestly, I'm just so happy this place isn't going to be sitting empty anymore. I think it looks a hell of a lot better with people in it. And I know I speak for my whole team when I say that. We are so happy to have another tiny house village open in our district. The South End Village is going to be a crucial addition to the city to address our housing and homelessness crisis with the urgency that it needs to be taken up with. And being at this opening today, you know, along with all of the excitement and the energy here, it really gives me a glimmer of hope, you know? I think if we continue to all put our efforts towards creating solutions that are just and sustainable and caring and compassionate, that we can move towards building a city for all. And, you know, I just again want to congratulate Lehigh on your successful organizing. And, you know, our office will continue to advocate for funding and continued funding, because we know that these transitional shelters are proven effective strategies towards getting people, you know, off the streets and into a safe, warm, and stable space to get back onto their feet. So thank you so much again for having us, and yeah, I'm really excited for continued tour.
Thank you.
Now I want to introduce Tracy Williams. Tracy, she has an incredible story to tell.
I'm so blessed to be here. I'm a former resident of living in a tiny house. I stayed at True Hope on 18th and Yesler. When I had got the news that we weren't going to be able to open this, I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, because I know there's thousands of people out there that need to be off the street to get permanent housing. When I was staying in a tiny house, I was staying in here 2020. That's when the COVID had hit, first of January. And so my sister and I, we had walked all around trying to find some housing, went to the REACH program and all these other programs. So this one place told us to go to Catholic Community Services on 18th and Yesler. So we went there, and they told me to go talk to Pastor Jeffrey. So I went to go talk to Pastor Jeffrey, and Pastor Jeffrey had my sister and I follow him to True Hope. And I spoke with Shelby, the site property manager there, and that was on a Tuesday, and I got the opportunity to move in on Friday. When I moved into the tiny house, I had 2 storage containers that closed. I felt hopeless. I had nothing, you know, I had nothing to look forward to. But when I started meeting up with my case manager and being able to get the things that I needed, and being able to get stable with the doctor's appointments, counseling sessions, peer support counseling, eye doctors, dental, all that, the village, Lehigh gave me the opportunity to get back on my feet, because when you're out there and you're homeless, you can't take care of your business, you can't take care of your mental health, you can't do any of those things, you know. But being in a tiny house, feeling safe, you got a key, you got washer, dryers, kitchen, you got 24-hour staff that's at the gate. I am myself a village organizer, and I work at TC Spirit. I've been with this company for 2 years, and it's a good feeling. And now I live at the George Fleming Place. And I was able and had the opportunity to move to George Fleming Place on 43rd and Odello. Me growing up as a kid and as an adult, I never in my life thought that I would be living in a brand new building. Lehigh has gave me the opportunity to get my life back together and succeed. And I know that this program works, you know, and that's opening this new village for people that's homeless. It gives them the opportunity to be just like me, you know, and get back on their feet, excuse me. You know, like when I go to work, I interact with the residents. I let them know that I'm no better than you. I walked in your shoes. I get it. I feel it. I understand you. You know, but on the other hand, we got to get the ball rolling and turn in all of our documents, you know, because Lehigh helps us with everything that we need. You know, if you need ID, they help you. Social Security, they help you. You know, case manager is always on site. When I was in the tiny house, I met with my case manager 2 or 3 times a week. I was ready to get some permanent housing. I was serious about permanent housing. And when I got my permanent housing, I didn't even know how to act. I was just like so excited, you know, about it. So I know that this program worked, you know, and I just want to thank everyone that's here, and I want to thank God, you know, for helping us all get together and get this place up and running. Thank you.
So, now I want to introduce Dave McCann. And Dave, Dave? Come on up. Dave has been this volunteer from Amazon Web Service, and he has not only raised money to help with the tiny houses and help with the setup, but he has recruited hundreds of, are they called Amazonians? to do the work. And he set it up as a challenge to, you know, see how, so he knows, how many engineers do you know? Several thousand engineers he has asked to help contribute to tiny houses.
Good afternoon, my name is McCann, and I have the privilege of working with Sharon for the last 9 months on this project. So I work at Amazon Web Services. There's a lot of us in downtown working there, and you know, we are all part of the community. And between the calls from Sharon for tiny villages and frankly from Andrew Willis suggesting we build 20 villages, a number of us got together at Amazon and said, how do we make a difference? And really, Lehigh makes it possible for citizen volunteerism. And we can all just donate a check, we can all just throw a dollar, but you want to do a lot more. And what we were inspired to do last year was we sat down and said, how do we make an impact? And we decided to fund a village. So we raised over $200,000. We've actually raised the money for 50 homes. And then we decided that funding wasn't enough. So Barb Oliver will be talking next, is our teacher. For the last 5 months, we've been sending teams of engineers and product managers from Amazon, including myself, and my wife can tell you how incompetent I am with tools. And Barb has trained us how to lift tools and build homes. And so our AWS volunteers have funded half of the homes behind you, and we've actually built half of the homes in the village right behind us. And what compels us to do that is the data that Lehigh gives us that shows that citizens suffering homelessness, that we move into these villages, within a year, we get the majority of them into permanent housing. So this is immediate, it's impactful, and as a citizen, we can make a difference. And that's inspired hundreds of us to be coming to the Lehigh Whole Factory that Sharon funds. And literally next week, we'll be another 20 people going in to build another couple of homes. And frankly, we need more villages. And Lehigh does a better job, in my view, in 15 years I've lived in King County, they do a better job than anybody in harnessing the good hearts of citizens that want to make a difference. And without you, it wouldn't happen. So we need more villages, we need more volunteers, we need more money, and I really thank you for the privilege of being part of the solution.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dave. That's wonderful. He even had his Mercer Island Tennis Club buddies. You belong, don't you have a bike club too that you belong to? Anyway, I next want to introduce Councilmember Andrew Lewis, who chairs the Public Asset and Homelessness Committee, and he's been a leader.
Thank you. Oh my God, I'm so excited to be here, Sharon. I'm so excited. You have no idea. You know, it was in January of 2021 when COVID was arguably at its peak, when encampments in the city were at their peak, and when hopelessness on the homelessness issue was out of control in the city, that we came together and decided to start an initiative called It Takes a Village. And we brought that to the forefront because everywhere I go as a council member, people just want to know, how can I help? How can I help? I don't like the moral failing of the city when I walk through a city with such great wealth and see so many of my neighbors living in tents with no other option, no other place to go. How can I help? And I felt, as a representative of those people, it was incumbent on me to find a way to help. And you know, Sharon, who is a treasure and a great advocate, helped us come up with a plan called It Takes a Village, to raise private money and public money, to pair them together, to reach out to folks to say, if you've got some spare land on a private lot, we would like to talk to you about making that a place where people can get out of tents and get inside. And I remember we put out that all call, and one of the first calls we got was Wayne. Wayne, thank you so much. This is so great to have this spot. I remember Jacob Thor coming in and saying, I think we got our first site. And we talked to Sharon. We match made Wayne and Sharon, and here we are. Look at this. Look at this. You know, it wasn't just with the tiny houses that you can give money or sites. You can help build these tiny houses. And that's why it's been so great to work with Dave, to work with everyone at Amazon Web Services, to work with Barb. We have been able to bring all of the skills, the assets, and the talents of the people of this city to bear to make this project. This is our project. This is a project that the people of Seattle came together and said, we are not going to have our neighbors live in tents anymore. We're going to get them out of these tents, and we're going to get them in a place where they can live with dignity. And that is what we are celebrating today. And here's my picture on this. This can't be the last celebration where we're opening 40 new tiny houses in the city of Seattle. We got to take this on the road, people, in Seattle, in King County, in the Puget Sound region, because we know that that crisis of homelessness that we see every day is still highly visible and is still a massive problem that we're trying to deal with. And we know what works. These tiny house villages work. You know, I look at folks in the audience here like John Pearson from District 7, from my district, where we've been trying desperately for 2 years to get a tiny house village built in South Lake Union. I'm not giving up on that, John. I'm not giving up. I want to have an event like this in South Lake Union. I want to have events like this in Ballard and the University District, all over the city, where we get more of these villages open to truly treat our homeless neighbors like the neighbors that they are. Mayor Harold, who's been doing a great job, campaigned on building 2,000 new units of shelter. And what we can say today as a city family, 40 down. 40 down. You know, completely serious. That shows the daunting task in front of us, but we're not going to get to 2,000 all at once. We're going to get there 40 at a time. That's what the demonstration of this is. We're going to get there 40 at a time. So my challenge is this: the second that I leave here today, I'm tracking down the next site. I'm tracking down the next 40 units. Michael, you're going to be hearing from me. We're going to keep going and keep this momentum going, because that is the imperative we face as a city. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilmember Willis. Everybody heard that, right?
I heard it. I heard it.
Recorded.
You heard it over here.
Yeah. I also want to introduce Sophia. Are you here? Yes. Oh, great. Sophia Benalfew from the Ethiopian Community of Seattle.
Good afternoon. I'd first like to congratulate all stakeholders who work together to bring that tiny house village to reality. Each and every tiny house will make a difference in the lives of individuals, couples, and families as they transition to more permanent housing. What's amazing about the tiny village is that it will give privacy to those who stay here, as well as wraparound services they can need back here. That would mean a smoother transition to more affordable permanent housing. Ethiopian community in Seattle, together with partners, is currently developing a long-term house for 90 low-income seniors. But on a daily basis, one of the services we provide is to connect people to housing, temporary or permanent affordable housing. As you can imagine, with more and more people passed out of their homes, the demand for such services is on the rise. It used to take a major unforeseen event or I would say a prolonged unemployment to make people homeless. But currently, even people who are employed, who are fully employed, can find themselves homeless as market rate goes up. In most cases, the increase in income, if any, is not catching up with the increase in market prices. We need tiny villages, shelters, and low-cost housing to house the homeless. At the same time, we also need to keep individuals and families in their homes. We need to work at both ends to make a meaningful difference. As an organization who connects people to housing, we're excited to see the condition of the tiny village. Thank you. It will mean that we now have more resources to live our homeless. Each and every tiny house will provide a safe place to stay, and will be a much needed step towards permanent affordable housing. We look forward to partnering with all of you, and thanks again.
Thank you. So here's the speaker you've all been waiting for, Bob Audible.
So Sharon always called me Bob because they call me Barb the Builder, and that's how she gets confused. Dave, Tom, Jen, Carol, Deb, Beatrice, Perry, DeWitt, Lisa. These are just some of the hundreds of big hearts who volunteer at the Hope Factory 6 days a week. Raise your hand if you help build these homes. Over 6,000 volunteer hours went in building 35 of the 40 homes that we built in this village. Thank you to Dave, to Jen at Target, to, well, let me just tell you what happened this morning at the Hope Factory. Somebody came in, two of our volunteers, and they handed me this envelope with a check, and they said, here's thousands of dollars, we want to sponsor a home. And then my buddy came in, who is a security guard at one of the other tiny home villages, and he came in and he said, it's my birthday today, and the tiny home village that I work at as a security guard, they're going to give me a barbecue, because that's what community does. And oh, by the way, here's 50 bucks, I wish I could give you more.
Oh, right on.
Every home out here that we built was built with private funds and built with love. Now, if you will indulge me, those of you who are able, please turn around and look down the village while I talk. Marvin, Lily, Chris, Eric, Jaja, Sam, Larry, Michael, Big Jim, Karen, David, who 2 days after leaving the hospital with a heart attack, lay in his tent in January with icicles hanging from the inside of his tent, thinking, is this the day I'm going to die? Recently, David, a tiny home resident, graduated from the University of Washington with a degree in architectural engineering. He achieved a 3.98 GPA. While going to school, David had another heart attack and cancer surgery. He is 72 years young. Wow. Sonia, who found out she had brain cancer 6 months after getting the keys to her tiny home. Instead of being on the street, Sonia had a community of people just like this one will be in the tiny home village, who took her to the shower, brought her food, made sure she got her meds on time, and took her to the doctor. Sonia is now living in her permanently high home, weight regained, hair grown back, and just as sassy as ever. And she is thriving. She's thriving. And the gentleman I met last week, who wishes to remain nameless, in his tiny home for less than a month, raw with grief after experiencing his mother dying by her own hand, he is now able to shut the doors of his tiny home and finally cry. He has a community of folks like this community will be, there to listen to him, to hug him like I did when he needed it. Go ahead and turn back around. There will be more names like this. Seattle City Council recently funded an expansion of the Tiny Home Village, Camp Second Chance. We have already put 20 more tiny homes in that village. The infrastructure and first-year expenses for the next 2 tiny home villages located in Tequila are fully funded through the King County Department of Community and Human Services. Let me tell you about one of these villages. Riverton Park United Methodist Church will be hosting one of the tiny home villages in a parking lot. My friend Pastor Jan is the minister there. She is also in charge of the Tequila Food Pantry. The city of Tequila has a large marginalized community, and this pantry sometimes is the only source of food that the residents have. During COVID, they went from giving out 200 meals a day to over 1,000 meals every day. When an apartment complex caught fire, it was the Tequila Pantry that was there mobilizing the community and raising money and much needed goods for those who lost their homes in the fire. For several years, and I mean years, volunteers at the Tequila Pantry have prepared the food and filled the boxes for others. Then, in the evening, they go home to their tent encampment in the parking lot of the church. One person I know lives in what used to be the custodial closet. Now these same great hearts can soon put a key in the lock and open the door to their own tiny home. Yes. We look forward, and we are currently building these homes for our friends. While differing opinions swirl around King County regarding the best way to end homelessness, Sound Foundations will continue to do what we have always done, quietly building homes, one by one, getting folks off the streets. Our mayor called the Home Factory the first best solution to homelessness, and we agree. Throughout the summer and into the fall, we will build the homes for these villages, and we'll build. Then when we dedicate the Tequila villages, we will call out the names of the people in this village who are successfully transitioning their lives into something better. And when the rain hits Seattle next October, over 100 more people will be warm and safe and dry. And by the way, if you find yourself today complaining about the weather, try living in it.
So, in addition to Lucky 7 Foundation, we also have the Moccasin Lake Foundation, who made a major contribution, and that was for capital. And then we also have Representative Frank Chopp, who also has capital funds that you all read about. And part of those funds are going into this village. So, Frank, come on up.
Let's hear it for Barb Oliver. Too damn polite. Let's really hear it for Barb Oliver. tonight since the beginning. And along the way, we've met a lot of friends. People like Sally Bagshot. John Peterson. And by the way, I gotta avoid looking at Melinda because if I look at her, I'll start crying. I'll probably do anyway by the end of this. I was asked to say a few words about the broader picture on top of the great success of this village and many other tiny home villages. And progress is being made despite all the negativity out there. So, 3 examples. We have a new model being built right now out at Sand Point, 22 cottages. It's amazing. You go up there and look at it, and it's on public property that we took back from the naval station there and turning it into homes for the homeless. Because if you're homeless, tiny home is great, but most people would like their own toilet, their own shower, their own kitchenette, just the basics. Well, that's what's being built out there. We want to use that as a model across the state for whether you're homeless or a low-income student or a farm worker, you have that kind of access to a home, be it small, but it's fully functional. That's the first new model. Second of all, new resources. We pushed to get through the legislature a new funding source that the county finally implemented, which brings in a lot of money. They're buying up 2,000 units in hotels around the county, 2,000 additional units that are coming online over this coming year. That's a big step in the right direction. It's called healthcare housing, which is very important to connect those two. In addition, we guess what? We raised the document recording fee on real estate documents, which brought in $150 million per year for homeless services. Not all of that's going to Lehigh. And then thirdly, a new dynamic. We have got to connect healthcare with housing. And guess what? This year we passed Apple Health and Home, which is expanding the current program that we've set up, which provides some services for people who are homeless, but not the home. We are now going to provide homes for people who need it as part of their medical situation. 70% of those who are chronically homeless are homeless because of their medical condition, mental illness, substance use disorder, or major physical disability. So if you're homeless because of your medical condition, you ought to have a home as part of your medical treatment. To carry that out, the state budget, we put in $300 million to help build those homes. That's just the start. We want to make it an entitlement. An entitlement. Because if you're on Medicaid, low income, you can go in and if you have a heart attack, you get care. No questions asked. But why, if you're homeless and on Medicaid, you have to suffer on the streets? It's just not right. So, we love you, Frank. As we make progress in this work, we must take care. We don't need any false stories. We don't need any needless strife. Don't get discouraged. Don't be dismayed. Get energized. Get organized. We must be focused. We must become unified. For we believe in the simple premise that having a home, even if it's a tiny home, is a fundamental human right. Amen. Are we unified? Are we unified? Are we unified?
He has been the leader in the state legislature, and he has been untiring and dedicated, and he truly is fighting for all of us. We're going to wrap this up, but I want to have Brad Gerber raise your hand. And amazing team of Lehigh folks have been working very closely with Barb, with all the volunteers, with all the contractors, with all of the vendors to get this all together. And I just wanted Brad, if you could, we have like Paul, I don't know if Paul is here, Abdul, James, Tom, Alex, thank you. Unbelievable team effort. Thank you, everybody for being here and celebrating. And this is just the beginning. This village needs your support. There's a community advisory committee. This village needs donations, needs your ongoing support. And like Councilmember Willis said, we are going to be doing more villages. So we are going to be celebrating